What is going on, everyone? The boy is back in town. Listen here, guys. I made a joke on Twitter last night that every time I go on vacation, something phenomenal happens in the world of crypto. So if you guys want to start a GoFundMe and send me, my wife, and my child / future children on ever going vacations, I will volunteer as tribute. We can get that going. And you guys can make millions in the process. It's about taking a little loss temporarily so you make big gains in the future. Think about it. Don't say no yet now. Just think about it. Let me know what you guys think. We do have a lot to discuss today. I'm going to have to talk about this Ethereum ETF that's coming out, the altcoins, what the future of altcoin price looks like. But we will talk a decent amount about one of my favorite altcoins, Cardano. But we're going to have a conversation that a lot of us don't want to have, or some of us actually love this conversation, but the lovers of Cardano don't want to have. And that question, as the title suggests, is it time to give up on Cardano? You guys found the right channel if you care about crypto and want to know everything and stay up to date with what's going on in the charts and the news. We're the Investing Bros. Let's roll that intro. How'd it do, T-Shroom? How has your week been in all of this chaos?
Oh, it's been smooth sailing, Tim. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been better than I would have ever deserved. So, yeah. I got a quote for us here today. After a while, just staying alive becomes a full-time job. No wonder we need a vacation. That is from Michael Zadorian. Don't know who that is, but no stranger to vacations. What do you think about that one, Tim?
I love vacations. I usually still pay attention to my work life while I'm on vacation, but sometimes it's nice to change the scenery wherever you are. And, here's the thing about vacations, though. I don't know if you guys like this. Put a 1 in chat if you relate to what I'm about to say. A lot of times you look forward to the vacation coming, and you plan around it and you count the days down, and then you get there and the first day's great, but then by day 2 or 3 or so, it's not like you're like, oh, I hate being on vacation, I want to get back to work, but your mind starts to trickle back to work and think about all the things you're going to have to do when you get back, right? So I love vacationing, I love going and getting away, but I am the type of person who, like, even while I'm there, my brain will still think about, all right, when I get back home, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. We have the members only stream on Monday. We got to make up for the missed one on Thursday. All this stuff that goes on. But I was very glad to be in Charleston, South Carolina. If you guys are from there, shout out, beautiful city. We went and saw Fort Sumter, the original battle of the Civil War. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Brody, we celebrated his first birthday. The kid is a stud. He's walking like a champ now. He now walks more than anything else, doesn't crawl or anything else. So getting to just continue to watch that little boy grow up is always nice. And, I said this before. Some of you guys know a couple of weeks ago, and it's not a crazy thing now that I've researched more about it. But my son, Brody, had a seizure, a febrile seizure. Turns out they're pretty common, not that big of a deal, but in the moment, doesn't feel that common, doesn't feel like it's a no big deal, feels very serious. And it's moments like that that do remind you of your priorities in life. And there's things like crypto, guys. Like, I love crypto, and I'm going to make a lot of money in crypto, and I'm going to set my family up for a lot of success. But if you told me, Tim, would you cost the relationship you have with your wife and son to further wealth in crypto? I tell you, no way. I'll live broke every day of the rest of my life if that means I get to keep my family. And so these trips also, not only are they good just for you to relax from work, but they're also good to continue to spend that extended time with the people that actually matter and the people that cause you to go to work and work so hard each day. And for those of you who don't have a family, you're looking forward to it. I don't want to make you feel bad if you don't have a family. Build right now. You have a very big blessing in your life that you can focus on you can focus on your finances, and you can prepare your path so that in the future, when you do have a family, you can go and take those trips away from them and not have to worry about it. So, we'll move on. We'll talk about crypto, but that's these kind of trips remind me of those types of things. You gotta stop sometimes, smell the roses, and remind yourself why you do what you do. But before we get into our stream here, guys, remember the Investing Bros are brought to you guys every single episode by Hydration. We are the #1 hydration channel on the market here in the crypto and investing world. You know, we say crypto, but I don't even think there's a stock market channel, a Forex trading channel, a TradFi channel that believes in hydration as much as the bros. Guys, if you have a headache, go get some water. If you're either constipated or maybe you have some diarrhea and you're struggling in the bathroom, go get some water. If you've lost your last 7 trades, let me prescribe you a healthy dosage of LuxAlgo, the greatest trading tool in the universe, whether you're trading crypto, stock markets, Forex, whatever you're doing, and 7 sips of water and your trades will change immediately. Just like that, you'll be profitable. Drink your water, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into our bubbles here, T-Shroom. How have the bubbles been going for you? I got a lot of green ones on my screen today. None bigger than Core, which I don't know why there was a drum kit for that one. Now, you called something this week about Core, T-Shroom. Is that true?
Tim, I did call this Core pump. I'm going to claim it, and I've got the clip to prove it. Are you ready? I think you are. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen. Shout it out, but this is Core. Core has been a big mover. If you've been keeping your eye here on the crypto bubbles, which I look at it at least once a day. Today it's the meme coin dominance and also some AI moves to the upside, obviously. Render here up 8.2%. And then the other, you see Bonk, and those are, it would be remiss, 4% there, bubbles. But on the chart, it's actually down since, and this spike back here was April 2nd. Since then, Core down to live price is down 60%. Now, Mark Yusko will say if a stock or if a crypto is down 90%, buy it, right? Now, of course, that's not financial advice from him or myself, but with so much bullish momentum here, this is starting to look a little bit more attractive, considering the bullish momentum that this name has had. So there you go, I called it. And Caleb Franzen emphatically agreed with me, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong. But there it is on the chart today. Big pop.
Your call looks great. Look at the other big bubble here, Uniswap. Uniswap doing phenomenal. If you guys were here with us on Monday, remember, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. Remember when I aped into that Uniswap? I broke my rules. I never buy into rallies. I never buy into pumps. But I said, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. And I entered a 3x. I want to say, no, I think I went up to a 5x. I think I did compromise. Some people wanted me to do a 50x, and it would have been a phenomenal trade because, as you guys can see here, we go to the 4-hour chart. I entered around $8.36. Never once was even in risk of entering my stop loss. We hit take profit here yesterday. My take profit up here at 10.15 went a little higher than hit our take profit. But listen, again, just even more here. The bros, we make some good calls. If you stick around and you join the membership, join the community, you're going to be around for some good calls here. Let's take a look at what's happening in the last 24 hours, though, over on CoinMarketCap. What do we have going on? Let's refresh the page because, as you can see, Bitcoin's not at $71,000 unless we've seen a massive rally in the last 5 minutes while I was talking. Yeah, that didn't happen. It's just 69,100. Not too bad, though. We'll talk more about that when we get into the chart section. Bitcoin up 1.47%. Ethereum only up 1%, give or take. We'll have to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, T-Shroom. We'll have to take a look at the ETH over Bitcoin chart. But of course, the big news on the block while I'm gone. Again, I'm on vacation, but I stayed paying attention. That Ethereum ETF shattering people's minds, dreams, and hopes, especially those like Gary Gensler's. I'm sure he's crying somewhere, not hydrating. Gary Gensler probably doesn't hydrate at all. He probably drinks oil. BNB 0.8. I don't know if Gary drinks oil. I don't want to spread false information on the internet. That's a
he drinks something.
I apologize for that. Solana up 0.23%. We'll have to talk about Solana today. 1.2 or 1.1 for XRP. Toncoin, our big gainer here. Back below Dogecoin, so it lost its number 8 ranking, but Toncoin up 3% for the day, so it does win biggest gainer of the top 10. And of course, a coin we will be discussing today, Cardano, barely in the red, down 1.2%. Now it's back up to 46 cents, but it was down below that, and it's going to kind of be a part of our conversation we're going to have here in a little bit after the charts. I'll take a look at the Cardano chart when we get closer to that topic. So anyone who jumps in here and is wondering, Tim, when are we talking about Cardano? We're going to save the conversation We got to get some charts first. But I also wanted to point out one of the coins here over the last couple of days. Altcoins corrected, not surprising. We had phenomenal news. We had big rallies on altcoins, and then they corrected. But Chainlink taking some advantage, getting above that prediction. Remember, we talked about 17 cents for a Chainlink about a week and a half ago. Well, turns out we hit that one dead on as well. It's down the last 24 hours, but now up to number 14. Again, earlier, a couple of weeks ago, it was down towards 18, 19, 20 area. Got up into the top 15 last week, and now it continues to climb. Again, the reason why this is significant is because we have predicted, and I'm going to say we as in me, but I don't think T-Shroom disagrees with me. We have predicted that Chainlink will become at least a top 5 coin, if not try to get up to that number 4 or 5 spot. T-Shroom, do you still believe that that is doable for Chainlink?
Tim, I still believe.
Yeah, someone corrected me in chat, El Thoro. Thank you. Sometimes I talk so fast, I don't realize that I differ between cents and dollars. Chainlink didn't get to 17 cents, everybody. It got to $17. Very important distinction. Thank you, El Thoro, for keeping me honest. Let's go take a look at the charts here. Like we said, Uniswap crushing it here, getting above even what we predicted on that trade. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, though. Now back above 69. Let me turn off LuxAlgo for a second. We'll get back into LuxAlgo because, of course, they're the sponsor of this channel and this episode. But Bitcoin actually came down a little bit lower. But while I was on vacation, if Matt C is in chat, I don't want to. I try to never lie to you guys ever. Sometimes I say something that I go back and I realize wasn't entirely true, but my intention was honest. But I'll be honest with you guys. There's sometimes I say things that I'm like, oh, I misremembered how I put it. But Matt C can verify because I was texting him during this week. I was in Charleston. Bitcoin rallies up here to 71. Remember, I told you guys, don't be surprised to see a rejection around 71,000 because of this zone. But he asked me, Tim, should I go ahead and buy more or should I wait for a dip? And I told him, again, I have text messages to prove this. I said, I think that the area around 67,000 looks very interesting because we have a smart trail concept here on the 4-hour chart and a nice bullish breaker block, right? So, Matt, don't hang me out to dry. I texted you this. This is factual. Don't let me down here. I didn't call it for the whole community because I was on vacation, but I did help out Matt. And Matt, I think, bought some down there at 67. And technically, we dipped to about 66.2, give or take. So I missed it by about $800. But I think that that's still pretty solid level of support. Shout out to Yair Navarro. He's renewing his BROZ membership because he's got a red badge right there, meaning he's been a bro for a hot minute. But thank you so much, Yair Navarro, for being a member. Let's talk about more what Bitcoin is looking like. Let's go out to the daily chart here. As we said before, we also made a prediction for 71,000 based off of this blue level right here, which of course was this channel, this descending channel's opening. And of course, you move that over the breakout spot to make your prediction. So Bitcoin has hit everything we predicted for it to do. The question is going to become, do we make it above this channel right here, this sideways channel, and start the new all-time high discussion earlier than August? Or do we see some form of FUD come in and knock Bitcoin back down to the bottom? Let's take a look at what the daily chart signals are saying. Let's pull up LuxAlgo. We hit temporarily, we hit that hit the take profit and the order block put into place. We come back down and there's a breaker block, it turns out, not just on the 4-hour chart in this area, but also here on the daily chart as well. So that's serving as some strong support at the moment. If that were to get lost, of course, we have a smart trail concept coming in back somewhere closer to 64,000, give or take. Let's see what our oscillators are saying here for Bitcoin. We'll start with the bad and kind of make our way into some good here. Our stochastics RSI did get overextended and is on its way back down, but take a look there. You see some hesitation here on stochastics RSI. We get a second bump here on 61, just like we had back on May the 12th. So keep an eye on that one. What I love about the RSI, though, is this continuation of staying above the 50 line. In fact, we haven't even retraced back to touch it. So if we do fall in price and maybe head back to 67,000, 66,000, where that breaker block is, what I would love to see to give me more warm, fuzzy feelings about Bitcoin maybe setting a new all-time high soon, it would be pretty awesome to come back down and retest the RSI 50 as support, just kind of continue to hammer in the strength that the bulls are in full control here. Let's keep moving on, though. MACD kind of moving sideways, kind of hesitating now after rallying, but you can see long way to go before I would say MACD is a little overextended. There's Matt C in chat trying to lie on me. All right, listen, you trust a man and you change him in your phone. T-Shroom. I'm not. Let me see if I can show you guys his name. I'm gonna dox him as well. I'm gonna make sure he doesn't have a phone number. All right, I'm gonna cover this. Well, wait, hold on.
Careful, Tim.
Can I do this? There we go. Okay, I'm not doxing any information. I'm just doxing his contact in my phone. Can that? There we go. I changed his name in my phone. This is his. Hold it. And then he goes and lies. Okay, now he's saying he can confirm. All right, never mind. You can stay best friend of my phone. Matt C, thank you so much for backing me up.
Unbelievable.
I need it. Back to the screen. So let's check out on the oscillators here. Here we go. This is not what you want to see if you're a Bitcoin holder. There was here just a couple of days ago a good sell order. Let's see if this one's going to check out. I told you guys before, this target, this signal for me has been accurate over 90% of the time. So there have been times where I've seen this signal flash and it ends up being a bad signal and ends up, not playing out bearishly. But when I have this red reversal dot, this bearish momentum and negative money flow, traditionally that's a good time to sell. I should have sold May 22nd. Let's just see how this one kind of looks when I zoom in here. May 22nd is going to be, all right, so it's not a bad candle here. It's just it's one of those things like I think if I was going to look at this objectively, T-Shroom, I probably would be taking profit on that trade. If I had entered up here on 69.4, probably looking to take profit somewhere in this range of 64,000. So not a terrible trade, but we are under a bounce right now. So daily chart still suggesting, I would say when I take a look at all these, remember even the bullish one, the RSI, I'm saying there's room to the downside. The daily chart suggests that Bitcoin should probably have a continuation of the downside. Let's see what the 4-hour chart is saying here for Bitcoin. It's a little more bullish here, but of course it's lesser timeline here. Bullish signal here. So the 4-hour chart said to buy back here on the 24th around 8 a.m. What does that do for us at 8 a.m. if I were to look at that? Good buy signal. I can tell you that right now. 8 a.m. Boom, right here. You would have bought somewhere around 67,280. And of course, I say you probably are taking profit somewhere in the range of 70,000. So do not be surprised here, guys, if we see something along this line. Let's turn off LuxAlgo and give Bitcoin some fake analysis right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Bitcoin made its way up here. Come on now. To a 70,000. Boom. Sets a lower high. And then potentially comes back down here towards, what did I say, 65, 64, give or take in that range, and then does whatever it wants to do next. I don't know if it goes to new highs, goes to new lows, kind of focus on the next couple of weeks right here with this. If we were to go out to weekly chart, I could just tell you guys, it's bullish. Bitcoin going up and to the right. But if I'm looking at the next couple of weeks, what I'm kind of seeing here is a potential move to 70,000, then maybe a rejection at 70,000 and a move back down towards 64. Remember, all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is still setting higher highs and higher lows. In fact, if we were to draw a little trend line right here, give me this trend line, guys. There we go. Maybe potentially we drop a wick below this, but we kind of continue to use this trend line as support. Again, wick right there, maybe coming down, but jump right back into it. And then we have this trend line move to support. Until we break that level of support, I think the bulls are very, very, very much in control here on Bitcoin. But let's speak about another coin that has some bullish intentions moving forward.
Real quick, Tim, before you move on, I was tweeted at by the Englander. I don't know if he's watching or not, but the Englander
watch out
said,
for those Brits.
"Hey T Shroom, do I spy a cup and handle?" That was like South African, but anyway. Yeah, little cup and handle action there. What do you think?
Maybe. It's not necessarily in full play yet. Here's what I'll say. I'm not going to call this a garbage cup and handle, but this is not a pretty one. Why? Because this is the price action. Like, the price is going to be choppy, but it's not going to be like this kind of choppy. Like, that's pretty stinking choppy for a cup. Normally, cup and handles, you have a prettier base. The price action gets boring. What I would say is what you want to see to confirm this isn't even just the downward action. You probably want to see the price get back up to 71.7. Again, I'm not gonna say there's a 0% chance this plays out in the fashion it does, but I want to maybe put this into perspective for you. Whoever tweeted, what was his name? Who tweeted at you?
The Englander.
The Englander, Brits. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's just pretend that this is a cup and handle, right? And it just pulled back down here to 66.4. That's the bottom. We're gonna go set a new all-time high. Let's not pretend that this is like the most explosive rally of all time, because this is the breakout pattern. You don't go to the base of the cup. You go to the base of the handle. This would give us a little modest prediction about 77,000. Not bad. That's not bad actually at all. In fact, that puts us a little bit higher than where some people are going to take a look at this and say, hey, did we have a head and shoulders pattern right back here? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Let me be specific. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. This one would give us a price prediction of something in the realm a little bit lower, but 75, 76K, give or take. So is it doable? Absolutely. But what I'll say is, I said this before, patterns in crypto, to me, have a lower percentage of probability playing out than maybe on Forex or stock market. A lot of people want to take everything that works in the stock market and Forex and apply it to crypto in the technical analysis game. And I've found that that's not always the case. There's sometimes, but maybe in the Forex world or the stock market world, where those things probably play out 75, 80% of the time. So pretty reliable. I'd put in the world of crypto, those types of formations playing out to their breakout prediction closer to 60 or 65%, meaning they probably still do it more often than not, but not by a lot. 50-50 means it's completely unreliable and a stupid, formation. I'm not going to call it stupid because there's enough experienced investors that trade these markets. But remember, technical analysis is simply about looking at the mass psychology of other people trading in the space and trying to use the same logic and reasoning. In the stock market and Forex world, people live and die by charts and formations. Yes, they have to look at income and they have to look at news as well, but they love formations. They love all that juicy stuff. Whereas in the crypto world, some people just buy based off of hype and they're not necessarily watching the chart. So the biggest thing in crypto when you're doing technical analysis is to look at significant levels of horizontal support and resistance. That is your number one key. What are the most significant levels of support and resistance horizontally? Then you maybe can move into some descending or ascending levels of support or resistance, as well as volume, and you get into some other juicy stuff. But formations, make sure in crypto, I would not make a single trade. Let me give you some not financial advice. I'm giving you trading advice here. Nice. I would not make a single trade based off of formation alone. I would look for some form of confluence saying, hey, not only do we have a cup and handle, we also have bullish volume. We also have a major headline that's coming out that brings in new buyers. Like, I would look for multiple levels of confluence in the charts, not just trust a formation alone. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Drilla69 says, Tim, will Bitcoin pull back into the low 60s? Someone asked me this. I think there's a chance it does if for some reason we get some terrible news. What could some of that terrible news be? I don't know. Gary Gensler decides to throw another wrench into the whole works. I don't know what it would look like because it looks like he's a dog with his tail between his legs. He's been beat once again. But if you're saying, Tim, is it impossible to go to the lower 60s? It's not impossible. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get on a limb that it's going to take some pretty out of left field bad news for Bitcoin to drop back below 64, 65 to get to lower 60s. It's not impossible, but I'll put it maybe in the improbable at this point category.
Now, Tim, there's been a flag thrown on the play because you're doing a lot of run-on sentences.
Yeah,
which is something we have promised the community we were going to improve. And we have 2 super chats about render, so we'll get to those on the other side of Cardano. How's that sound?
We will. We got a super chat. You want to read on the other side? Let's read that now. Because
let's do it.
They paid me.
Well, we've got $5 US from KV, and he said KV, and then he said, "Hi Tim, can render ever come back from $7 so I can think about
$7?
Buy more for long term?" So render TA, can it get back to 7?
Well, let me put it this way: don't wait for 7 to buy for long term. If you're looking for a good trade opportunity, I'm maybe looking for a move back down towards $7. But if I'm talking about a long-term investment on render, $10 is good enough. I'm not waiting for $7 for a long-term investment there, right?
And what I would say is if you've got a grand, which it may be a lot more, maybe a lot less, if you got a grand, put 300 now, 700 on the dip that you think is coming, right? Some version of that. You don't have to think of it all as one chunk all the time. Break it up, stress levels down.
I'm kind of sitting here with Render though. It's again, I'll say this similar to Bitcoin with lower 60K levels. Possible, yes. Probable, I'm not going to put it as probable just yet. There's a lot of support between where we currently are and $7. I mean, we have a smart trail concept here around 875. Also, when I turn off LuxAlgo, look at what we have going on here. I'm not saying this is definitely going to break out to the upside, but I'm seeing a little bit of a bull flag going on right here where you clearly have a kind of a zone. It's going to prove that one says descending. I don't like that as much because I like this. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at this. I'll just do a box. I mean, I don't even need this. There's some wicks above and below, but look at that. It's all in a nice box. We keep rejecting at 1150 and keep bouncing several times off of 983. Well, guess what, guys? When you take a look at what the price action looked like before that little box and you ascribe a little flagpole to it, and then you have a breakout, this would send Render up here to 1643, give or take. And again, we're talking about a coin that would be a new all-time high because it just set a new all-time high back here in March. March of this year. So I'm kind of looking at this and saying a lot of support below, a bullish formation in play here on Render. I don't think that you should wait for $7 for a long-term play. I would say if $7 does come into play, that I'm looking for a potential long situation in terms of a trade. And if I still have some dry powder for my big bag, my long-term hodl bag, then yeah, I'm buying some more at $7 because that's phenomenal if I need more Render in my portfolio. But at this point, I'm happy with the $10 purchase of Render. I think this is a great purchase. I haven't done a Render price prediction video just yet, but I need to. I'm going to tell you guys right now, let's just pretend. I think this is very modest to think that Render could continue to do upwards of more than a 10% from here. I think that we're talking about on $100 at the minimum for Render. I think a 10x is the minimum. I think realistically, Render is probably one of those projects you're looking at maybe closer to 15 to 20x. And then there's a possibility, depending on what AI does in the next year and some change, that it does even higher than that. But I'm just sitting here saying $100, vague $100 price prediction for Render. I have an opportunity to buy at $10. I'm scooping that up with very easily. No, not going to struggle to sleep at night with that purchase.
Now, Tim, you know that we love to stay hydrated here. Hydration is important, and we've actually gotten a super chat to that effect. $5 from Omar Torres said, currently working in 90-degree weather, taking a break, listening to the bros, and staying hydrated. I don't know that there's anything that's put a smile on my face more effectively than that super chat in the last 60 days.
Omar Torres is a bro. You know, he's been here long enough. He's learning the crypto world, but he knows the power of hydration. Go drink some water, everyone. In fact, let's do this. Let's start a new trend. I want you guys occasionally just go over to Twitter and take a picture. I like seeing your guys' faces. You guys see our faces every single day. I like seeing your faces as well. If you're comfortable sharing your face, if not, find a way to disturb it. Start tweeting at us. Tag me, T-Shroom, and Investing Bros. Start tweeting at us your hydration tactics over on Twitter. Let's start a movement. What is that? Fat Tuesday? Is that cup?
Yeah, this is a bar where you can go get dehydrated from alcohol, and you shouldn't do that. Even though this is a good reminder not to drink alcohol.
See, but the thing is, T-Shroom, you can get away with drinking more alcohol.
That's true.
And coffee. Why? Because you have such a heavy priority on the hydration aspect.
That's right.
So, all right, we're going to get back into crypto. Let's do some Ethereum. I didn't get into Ethereum TA. I want to do Ethereum TA because I have not gotten to participate with you guys in all of the enjoyment on the Ethereum chart over the last week. Look at the volume coming here. Let's just start off before we go too much further. Look at the volume coming in.
Oh, wow.
Supporting this bullish movement. You'll love to see it, guys. You'll love to see some Ethereum bullishness here. Dare I say, it's too early to call it for certain, but are we hitting an Ethereum rally sooner than expected? Like, you know, that cycle, T-Shroom, of like the Bitcoin rally and then the Ethereum season and then the altcoin season comes later. Are we speeding everything up here? I don't know. It's too soon to say for certain, and I'll show you why. But I want you guys to see this. There's still a little bit of room left here for Ethereum. Ethereum did not, I think, let me get rid of this line here for a second. Yeah, did not crack 4,000, right? So all the excitement did run up Ethereum's price close, got up here above 3,900, but did not crack the $4,000 mark. But Bitcoin has hit its prediction here already. Ethereum, we have the same angle here. We have this opening channel, this descending channel we've broken bullish out of. This gives us a price prediction of about $4,000, a little over $4,000 still in play here for Ethereum. And of course, when we come out here, we did get I love to see this, guys. I'm just telling you guys right now, have not done Ethereum TA. I've checked the charts briefly, but I'm not in depth. We created a bullish breaker block for Ethereum. Can we drop below it? Yes, we can. These breaker blocks are not infallible. It's not like they're perfect. It just is communicating a very strong level that should have sold off. When we hit this level, we should have rejected, and yet we didn't. We broke through it and went higher. So all of a sudden, this level goes from being a strong level of resistance into a super strong level of support, meaning a lot of buyers in this area, and we're sitting right on top of it. So I do love what I'm seeing right there on the daily chart with Ethereum. Let's see what the oscillators are saying. Overextended stochastics, but it's kind of dragging more sideways than rejecting and moving strong in a downward action. You're gonna see here we're down, but we're kind of curving over right here. So this might be one of those situations where we kind of just hang tight up high with stochastics. It kind of looks like what it might be in play here. Let's check out the other oscillators here. Well above the 50 here, kind of trading sideways with our RSI, so nothing there to really have a strong opinion about. MACD still going to the upside, but showing signs of weakness, so maybe there is some form of a small correction. And then, of course, over here with our oscillator, strong level of rejection. All right, there's a chance Ethereum could have a little bit of a tumble here. And the reason why is because we have our red resistance. Today, we're printing a very strong bearish momentum dot. And I'll say that will go away if we hold this level of support. But if we lose it, that's going to kind of lead us towards a question of, all right, money flow keeling over, possibly going to start going to the downside. Maybe there's a chance Ethereum actually does come into play, that it moves back to the downside. And to be fair here, I'm going to sit here and say on the daily chart alone, you're not really seeing support. If we lose this breaker block, you're not really seeing support until closer to 3,200. That seems drastically far to me to fall for Ethereum. I think you're going to come here to the 4-hour chart and find your stronger level of support somewhere around 3,500, right? So we're at 37.49 right now. If the bears do gain some control, and by the way, I'm not saying they're going to necessarily, because there's a lot of support between us, but if we start to lose these lower levels of support on the daily and 4-hour chart, like this breaker block, I'd keep an eye on 3,500 as a potential target where we could come down to, and take a look there. Let's go back to the 4-hour chart. Let's turn off our indicators here. You're going to see that that's where we wicked here the other day. So, you know what they say, where you win candle wick, a lot of times you'll candle stick. I change that quote every single time I say it because I don't actually know what the real quote is, but it's something to that effect. And you're going to see some support there around 3,500 come into play. So that's kind of my call here, guys. If Ethereum starts to drop, I think 3,500 looks like an advantageous buy spot. If that gets lost, now we're talking about 32 again, of course. You could drop down to 32. But with all the bullishness coming for Ethereum and the fact that technically we're kind of in a phase now where any day the Ethereum ETF could go live.
Yeah. Well,
I will say we could drop just like Bitcoin did. Let's not forget Bitcoin had a very interesting relationship with the Ethereum ETF announcement where it spiked the day that it started going live, but of course then would go to drop 20-something% afterwards. So maybe we see some sort of a serious Ethereum dip back down to 3,000, give or take. What would that be if we were to fall that far? Let's take a look here. That would be 20% dip. Maybe we see a 20% dip and Ethereum retraces back down to 3,000. But I'm not betting on it necessarily. And I like what Ethereum's doing. I'm very bullish on it long term. I would continue similar to what we kind of just talked about with Render. Render is at least going to do $100. So $10 is a great place to buy. Ethereum, we talked about this channel. I think Ethereum at least goes to 15K. I think it more realistically gets closer to 20, maybe even a little above 20. We'll have to wait and see how that works out. But if I'm thinking it's getting to 15K and I'm looking at 3,700, that is a very good price to scoop up some more Ethereum if your portfolio is looking light. I'll say this. I'm a bigger proponent of picking up some of the smaller caps, but my Ethereum bag was low. So I actually, I think my buy-in price was 3,600. So I didn't quite get the bottom, but I bought more Ethereum the other day at 3,600. I'm not saying you have to, but I saw this and I'm like, okay, here we go. We didn't know what Ethereum was going to look like. We didn't know it was going to happen this soon. I'm going to get in on this before it takes off, and I do think it will here in the next couple of weeks or months. 3,600, 3,700, 3,500. If you can scoop up these prices, you're doing phenomenal with adding to your Ethereum bags. Not that that's financial advice. It's just saying if you're looking to buy some Ethereum, those prices are good prices for purchasing more Ethereum.
For sure.
T-Shroom, it's 11:36.
It is.
I was gone all week. Carlos really wants me to do ONDO. We'll try to do some ONDO at the end of the week.
Yep.
End of the show. Because I do like me some ONDO as well. But let's get into some stories here, and let's just start off. Let's get into this topic about Cardano. A lot of people probably clicked on this, and they're 30 minutes into the show. And aside from us kind of setting the stage early in the show, we have not talked one bit about Cardano. And the question is, should we be giving up on Cardano, or is Cardano still having a chance to set new all-time highs? Let's set the stage with this T-Shroom. I think there's a video here recently of Charles giving some thoughts on Bitcoin, and we'll get into this.
You think there's a video. I know there's a video. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen, Tim.
Bitcoin anymore to survive. It's nice to have a digital asset like Bitcoin that has that reputation and it's digital gold, but remember, at the end of the day, it's a token with a deflationary monetary policy. And so at any given moment, another digital gold can form, and if it has good science behind it, it'll be just as secure, if not more so. You know, that's why we spent, in a science-based approach with Cardano, 7 years designing a proof-of-stake protocol. You know, from the GKL model to Ouroboros Classic, to BROZ, to Genesis, and everything that came afterwards, is that we thought a lot as an ecosystem about how do you build a secure consensus protocol that's energy efficient, but also has all the properties that Bitcoin has. And
so, saying a lot of things that sound really, really good there, but the audience in crypto has not taken it probably anywhere near as Charles wanted it to be taken. What are your thoughts on this clip, Tim?
The first thought I hope people know is that this is not a new thought. Like, if you think that Charles Hoskinson woke up this week and said, let me strike some concern about what Bitcoin looks like going forward. He's been saying this for years. It's just, you know, a lot of times when people have a narrative they want to spit out, they like to find these types of easy targets and bring it up. I will start off by saying nothing he says in this video is necessarily inherently of itself wrong. The facts he gives opinions that I think are wrong. But if you're going to sit here and try to argue with any details he said that are factual, he's not wrong about the facts. He's not wrong about the possibilities. I think he's wrong in his opinion. And this concept of saying and comparing Bitcoin to Microsoft's, what does he call it?
Windows.
Windows. All right.
He does that later in the quote, but yeah.
He compares it to Windows. I absolutely hate when people compare cryptocurrencies to things that are not currencies.
You hate it?
I'm going to try to do a better job of not really saying influencers' names some people know who this is. I respect this person, but I'm not going to say their name because I'm not going to try to spell UNI hate.
Is it me?
But
it's me.
Yes. Okay. Well, didn't want to say it. T-shirt. No, there's an influencer right now that is bearish. He is a bearish Bitcoin influencer, and he's comparing Bitcoin's price action to the .com bubble. All right. I didn't want to start a feud with Logan Paul, but here we go. All right, Logan Paul. No, I'm kidding. It's not Logan Paul. The point is, my point is, I don't like these comparisons because A, the times are very, very different, but B, the things that we're comparing, like if he wanted to compare all of these projects that are building out new names for, like if you can buy like crypto bros or investing bros at ETH.io, you know, if you want to compare those types of things to the .com bubble, go for it. Similar stuff.
Yes.
But what does Bitcoin and the .com bubble have in common when it comes to how people are purchasing it? Just because a chart did something back in 1990s that has a completely different industry and a completely different service and a completely different thing doesn't mean that Bitcoin will copy that. Well, in the same breath, when Charles compares it to Windows, Bitcoin and Windows are completely different. And I get the facts that he says here, T-Shirt, when he says that Bitcoin is simply, it's a digital currency. I can't remember the exact words he uses, but he said it's just a decentralized currency that can transact things. I don't think anyone's going to sit here and argue that Bitcoin is the most effective form of currency going back and forth. Well, that's not its purpose.
And it's similar to saying like, oh, well, gold it could have been any metal, any precious metal that could have been gold. And it's like, yeah, you could say that, but gold was the one that got picked. Gold was the one that, was given to Jesus by the three wise men. Gold was the one that's all the reserve currency of the world was backed by up until 1971. It was gold. It's Bitcoin. Yeah. Bitcoin is the brand name. Bitcoin won. And it's not good to compare it to Microsoft and Windows because Microsoft is currently the biggest company in the world. Bigger than Saudi Aramco, bigger than Apple, bigger than NVIDIA. Still today, right now.
His point was that Windows was the first thing to the market. It got defeated because a better technology came out. I get it, right? And that's the argument that should be made for Ethereum and Solana and Cardano and other layer ones that are solving technological issues that if something comes along and solves it better, then they're in trouble. But that's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, like you just compared it, is more like gold. Could the world have found a better form of hard money than gold? It could have. But effectively, gold was that first hard metal coin that people said, let's acquire some wealth to it. And then the whole world kind of used it. And until, again, the 1900s, when for dumb reasons we went off of it, it was the strongest. In fact, gold was the greatest currency the world had ever seen. It was the only currency that dominated, I think, was it 3,000 years? We used gold as the main form of currency for 3,000 years. No other currency the world has ever used has lasted that long. That's how good gold was.
And it's still going. It's not going anywhere, by the way.
But it's not the main form of currency. Like it lost its way as the main form of currency.
Sure.
The point of Bitcoin, are there things that transact blockchain faster? Absolutely. Are there things that potentially could become even stronger or harder than Bitcoin? Absolutely. Here's the problem. Bitcoin was first, and it's not a technological issue like Windows was. If a better technology than Windows comes out, Windows is only valuable because it's technology. Bitcoin is valuable because it's a store of value, and it's the greatest store of value the world's ever seen. And it's the first one to come into adoption of that way. And so it's going to take a massive – Bitcoin won't fail because something else is good. Bitcoin will fail if something goes wrong with Bitcoin. Gold didn't fail because something else was better. Gold failed because ultimately the people got together, and because it was still something physical you could touch and make decisions that way, a few men got together in a time of crisis and did away with that being the most significant storage of wealth in the world, or the thing that backed money. Bitcoin solves for that issue, and also it is the strongest form of currency. So I disagree with Charles Hoskinson that just because something could become better tech, that it will kick off Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not here for technology. It's here in a world of technology. It's going to be cool because the whole thing is digital in a world where we try to get away from materialistic things as much as possible and get into the web. But ultimately, as long as Bitcoin continues to be what Bitcoin is, it had the first mover advantage. It's going to have a massive amount of wealth stored up into it. People are not going to just all of a sudden all together come in and say, let's all ditch our Bitcoin and go into this younger, newer thing. That's just not going to happen. If one wealthy person says, you know what, I don't believe in Bitcoin anymore, I'm going to go buy Turd Coin. I just made that up, but maybe that is a coin. But just because one billionaire says, I believe in Turd Coin, doesn't mean the rest of them will agree as well. The others will say, sure, go ahead and sell us your Bitcoin. That's fine with me. I'll take your Bitcoin if you don't believe it anymore. And then the wealth will stay in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I love Charles. I want to be clear. I love Charles Hoskinson. In this video, he also talks about the meticulous thoughts that went into the creation of Cardano, from a speed zone, from a technological zone, from a security zone. It's one of the reasons why I think, I'm kind of giving away my answer here early, but it's the reason why I think Cardano will continue to exist, even if this bull market is not its greatest bull market. But he's wrong when it comes to Bitcoin.
I've got a thought that
comes to the future of Bitcoin.
I've got a thought that I've been hatching here. And Eric Wallen actually kind of came close to it. Bitcoin just doesn't have competition for what it is. Caspa maybe, right? And Charles makes a coherent argument that there could be a new Bitcoin one day, but there's nobody that even comes close in my mind to Bitcoin. There's nothing, right? Gold itself is probably the closest thing, and it's obviously far from a cryptocurrency. I think the comparison to the dot-com bubble and what we have learned from the past, when there's these unlocks of technology that open up this huge explosion of new innovation, I think a more fair comparison is that crypto and Ethereum and everything east of Bitcoin is the dot-com bubble, and we don't know what's going to be successful. Clearly, Ethereum looks like it's going to be pretty successful, right? But Bitcoin is like, it's different from that argument. It's different from that whole conversation altogether. It's almost like it's the internet itself of the dot-com bubble, of the dot-com, the Web 2 explosion, right? It's not even part of the conversation of what's going to be the new Apple, what's going to be the new Google, the new, these Amazon, these giant businesses that live on top of the internet of Web 2. Mm. Bitcoin is almost domains. It's just the internet protocol itself. It's Gary Cardone makes an interesting point too when he talks about Bitcoin, because at the inception of the internet, when they were creating this communication system, they never thought to give a native currency to that, to write a currency into the programming and the protocol of the internet. Why didn't they? We'll never know, right? But Bitcoin is that. It's just extremely delayed because the people who were creating the internet, they were university minds, they were military minds, and those institutions, they're not commercial capitalist transfer of value thinkers. They were how can we send data to from Stanford University to Harvard University? Or in the military, how can we talk to the front lines from the back lines and send big data files that you can't send over conventional radio? So Bitcoin is not crypto. And if anybody knows this, it's definitely Charles Hoskinson. I think a lot of the reason why people are getting upset about this soundbite is because Charles is coming across as that he's speaking for the Cardano community, and he's coming across as very ignorant. This man is very far from ignorant. If anybody knows crypto, it's him. He's literally a co-founder of Ethereum, right? However, and the founder of Cardano. However, he's coming across as ignorant, and for a lot of noobs that are coming into the space, they're looking at this guy and they're like, well, Cardano sounds dumb. He doesn't understand Bitcoin, and that's not good, right? It's just not good. If Charles wants to keep making these points, make them behind closed doors to people that matter, right? But the general crypto public just doesn't. This is not a message for us, right? This is a message for lobbyists. This is a message for other founders, and this is a message for like Bitcoin devs, I suppose. But the
only thing I could give him credit for is if for some reason we missed a portion of this conversation and he's discussing maybe somebody who thinks that Bitcoin could take away some of the smart contract stuff away from Ethereum and Cardano and Solana. If he thinks that if anyone's trying to make the argument that Bitcoin will rival and take away the need for other altcoins, then he's absolutely right. No, Bitcoin is not the best blockchain for the technology side. It is the greatest technology, or it's the greatest coin for store of value. I agree with Eric Wallen saying it's like comparing an operating system to a hard commodity. Have we ever compared the dot-com bubble to gold? Have we ever compared Microsoft Windows to gold? Like, no, we don't compare those things.
Or to timber or corn.
We compare silver to gold. We compare, Bitcoin is a commodity. And even Ethereum, I know officially now we're saying Ethereum's a commodity, and I'm very grateful we're treating it that way. But it's not a commodity in the same way Bitcoin is. Ethereum has technological use cases that will advance how the world does things in a similar way to how Windows did back in whenever Windows was created, the 70s, 80s, I don't know the exact date. But I think if you want to compare dot-com bubble or Windows to Ethereum or Cardano or Solana or Sui, go for it. There's arguments to be made. I still don't love the fractal excuse, but at least we're talking about like-minded things. Comparing those to Bitcoin, though, is just not a wise move, because I think someone earlier in chat said the same thing. It's like comparing an Apple sale. It's like comparing Apple sales, not Apple like the company. Apple is an apple you eat, to baseball bats. It doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So let's keep moving on here. Let's get into Cardano, though. Let's talk about Cardano, because the reason we brought that clip up is because T-Shroom said, whether we think he is or not, there are some people perceiving that Charles Hoskinson looks angry or like he's trying to fight for something, like he's lost something and it's not going the way he wants it to go. And he's kind of, breaking out, in which case it shows the weakness for Cardano. I'm going to start by saying I don't think that's what happens. I still believe that IOHK team is one of the top things, but let's talk about the price action here. Let's go ahead and share my screen here, T-Shroom. Cardano very silently and quietly broke through a level of resistance here a couple of days ago while I was gone, but even though it happened, I was here for this. Never mind. I was here for the 17th. Either way, it crossed and broke through a descending level of resistance, but it did not set a new highly high on this trend. It's still moving in a very sideways fashion. I mean, best case scenario, we're talking about Cardano kind of being in this box right here, as Piper likes to call it, based off, man, I see Piper in chat, I see Caleb Franz in chat. Shout out to these other creators here. He calls this a T-box in honor of me, so I feel very honored for that. But I'll term it, he was the one that created it. So best case scenario, Cardano's kind of trading here between 51 and 42 cents, right? Not breaking out. And when you have that attachment to a descending flagpole, there's going to be that camp that says, does Cardano have a decent chance of breaking to the downside more than the upside? No, I don't think so. I think as the rest of the space looks to go to the upside, I think Cardano trails behind. But the reason I'm bringing this argument up is because even though you guys know that I love Cardano, I love the technology, I love what they're doing, I love the passion that the team has to continue to keep Cardano secure and decentralized, I have to call a spade, and I have to compare it to like-minded things. For example, what is one of the other coins that we've complained a lot about recently, even though we're not anti this coin, we don't hate this coin, it's XRP. XRP has been a borderline stable coin here for months now, when it has really every excuse in the world to go ahead and take off to the upside. It's not. It's moving sideways, especially going back here to the big fall back in April 12th. We're just trading sideways. We cannot get above 56 cents. We keep coming back down, and it's a coin that's frustrating a lot of people. And we've already posed that question. Is it time to get rid of your XRP? Now, I've said on record, I still have a bag of XRP. I still think that XRP potentially hits new all-time highs. I have downgraded my predictions, whereas at one point I thought the bullish overtone of XRP could maybe shoot to upwards of $20. Now I'm saying I think we're lucky to get between 6 to 10. I have to take a look at Cardano and have a similar conversation here, T-Shroom. We had a very nice February and March area, but then we've been falling pretty dramatically. And now again, since that April 12th fall, gotten very boring, very sideways. Now, the excuse I'll give Cardano that you cannot give XRP is that Cardano still has a pretty heavy suppressive force on it, right? XRP, other than the fact that some people just don't like it, it's destroying the SEC. I know the case isn't officially over, but they've all but won their case with the SEC. They shouldn't have this strong pressure on it, yet the price stays down. That's the problem with XRP. Cardano currently is still believed by some to be in danger of being called a security. There has been this kind of suppression where some people just do not like Charles Hoskinson, who is the face of Cardano, even though he's not even the key decision maker anymore. That is a completely decentralized team. And if you are a node operator on Cardano, you're just as responsible as Charles Hoskinson is on making new decisions. But yet the perception has kept Cardano tight. It's kept it low. It's suppressed the price from breaking out. I am in the camp right now of saying I still believe Cardano hits new all-time highs. But I have told you guys, similar to my XRP thoughts, where I lowered my price prediction from upwards of $20 to more like, man, I think if it hit $10 to be lucky. I think $6 to $10 range for XRP is reasonable. I'm going to be making a Cardano price prediction video in the next week or so. I've updated my thoughts on Cardano after reevaluating things, and I'll explain this in my price prediction video, but you guys can get a treat. You'll hear my price prediction here. I'm kind of coming to the conclusion. I think Cardano, I think it reasonably does $5, but I'm struggling at this point unless something massively changes to seeing Cardano getting above $7. Remember, I used to kind of be in the camp of $7 to $10 with Cardano. But recent things have come to light, and the recent price action suppression compared to other altcoins has made me continue to back off my bullishness on this bull market for Cardano, simply because I think that the institutions are going to maybe continue to suppress Cardano for a while. I do think retail gets involved and still pumps it to new all-time highs, again, coming somewhere between $5 to $7. But I am, at this point, getting a little bit concerned, watching other altcoins start to press, watching other altcoins get a bunch of deals coming to their table, and Cardano not having that happen. there still is a chance, I think, that Cardano gets suppression. It falls out of the top 10, makes its way back in late, but does not get even close to the top 5. I at this point have Cardano probably hovering between number 10 at the end of this bull market to maybe number 8 or 7. But I don't think at this point there's a good route for Cardano to be in the top 5, and definitely not top 3 like it was last bull market. But I don't even think it cracks the top 5. Now, there's one caveat I'll give you guys. If you go to my screen here again, T-Shroom, I will say, and again, it's not going to be perfect here, but I will say, we did have a period back here. This is post the halving event back in 2020. Cardano, of course, rallying from the COVID incident, but I don't really count. I don't really care about COVID. It had a nice pump, rounded top, came down, and then traded for a couple of weeks, mostly sideways. And then after pumping, we had a very, very explosive January and February of 2021 that, of course, would lead to it being the number 1 altcoin for 2021's bull market. I don't think that gets repeated. I think that's more of a conversation for like Chainlink. But we've seen something similar happen. Technically, it happened pre-halving, but we saw this rally come up. We had a nice, almost rounded top. We've come back down. We're trading sideways. Do we potentially see Cardano wait until later June or August, start to rally a little bit, but wait until October, December before it has its big breakout? I think that still happens. But I've gone from saying, again, I'm going to reiterate this. I've gone from saying I think that Cardano gets up here and does something like this to now I'm sitting here saying I think that this explosive rally gets us somewhere in this category.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're looking at right now for Cardano, potentially do something like that and then retrace and come back down.
Yeah,
that's where I am.
I think one of the psychological dynamics that gives Cardano such an advantage in the late game of the bull market is that it doesn't do much marketing. It doesn't have a sizzle reel appeal to it like Solana, like Ethereum, that touches more mainstream niches and mainstream kind of feeds, whether it be on Twitter, Reddit, or Instagram or whatever it is. You just don't. You see a lot more Ethereum and Bitcoin, related content. But the Cardano's advantage in the late game is that it is an extremely solid project. So when noobs rush in, they don't find Cardano, right? They go into these other coins and they pump, but then they get overbought. And then by the time you get to the late stage of the bull market, all these noobs and some less, and some very experienced investors too, they rotate into Cardano because they're like, whoa, this is a really solid gem, right? That's kind of the miscategorization of Cardano at that point, because you're getting all this value for a underbought, and then just like clockwork, everybody finds out about that. Every YouTuber is making a video about Cardano, and then it just pumps really, really late, and it pumps really, really hard and strong and fast.
Let me give you an analogy for that, T-shirt. Let's do an analogy. If you like this analogy, you have to smash the like button.
You got
to. Go ahead and smash the like button anyway. We have over 400 people in here. How many likes do we have so far? Let's see if this analogy can get us over 200 likes. You get over 200 likes in the next 5 minutes. We can do it. There's a lot of people in here. Then we'll do an additional. We have a $100 giveaway we have to do because we just crossed 18,000 subscribers here 2 days ago. But I'll do another $50. If this analogy gets us to 200 minutes, you have 5 minutes. At 12:05, we're at 200 likes. We'll give away another $50 to somebody in our Discord. The analogy of Cardano right now is just like this, teacher. You know those rom-com movies, the classic rom-com movie of the guy, and he's going after there's this one girl that's just super hot, and he wants to go after this girl. He wants to date this girl, but he has this like nerdy friend with glasses, and she obviously really loves him, but he doesn't even think of her that way, right? But he goes after the popular girl, the hot girl, and then the hot girl breaks this is not a good example, I don't think. The hot girl breaks his heart, and then the nerdy girl takes off her glasses, and it turns out she's the most attractive female in the world, and now he's in love with her, right? I think Cardano's going to have a similar route. Cardano is the nerdy girl with glasses that you're friends with and you love, but there's this really, really attractive female named Solana. Really attractive female. And I think that this bull market is the lead up to the middle of the movie where everyone goes after the popular hot chick, and her name is Solana. But eventually, I kind of feel like Solana's going to break some hearts. She's a player. She's going to not do everything you need to. And all of a sudden, Cardano's going to take their glasses off, and turns out it's the hottest altcoin in the world. And next bull market, talking about 2029, that's when we all fall in love with the nerdy girl that was our friend the whole time, Cardano.
I think you just described the song "You Belong with Me" by Taylor Swift.
So am I a Swiftie?
I've been here the whole time.
Did my analogy just make me a Swiftie? I don't know. Let's see if the chat Crux put that new poll in chat. Is Tim a Swiftie based off his analogy here? What do we do for life? I mean, we have 5 minutes.
Great. No, this is great. Solana wears high heels. Cardano wears sneakers, right? Yeah. Solana's cheer captain, but Cardano's on the bleachers.
Yeah.
Dreaming about the day when investors will wake up and find that what you've been looking for has been here the whole time. Cardano. If you could see that Cardano is the one that understands you. It's been here all along, so why can't you see? You belong with Cardano. I think we're having fun here today, Tim.
Oh my gosh. All right, 4 minutes, guys. We got a decent amount. We're up to 178 likes, so we still need 22, and we'll do an additional $50 giveaway. But I liked the analogy. I thought it's a good analogy.
I think it's great.
I think it's spot on. I think it's spot on. Again, I think that Cardano still has a very bright future, but it is not perceived as a very sexy altcoin right now. And there's a chance that it doesn't really get its moment in the sun in this bull market. It has to wait till the next one. It won't die. I think it still sets a new all-time high, just not as explosive as some of these other altcoins. But then again, I think the year 2028 and 2029, mark it down, clip it, tag me in it. Let's remember this. I think 28, 29 is the year of Cardano when it comes to layer ones. That's my prediction.
Wow.
That has a very long time before we see if that plays out or not.
Yeah. It's hard to, I'm definitely not selling Cardano. I will probably hold Cardano all the way through this bull market. And just because it is a late performer, right? So it does have that card. It's done that. It's got the track record, and it is extremely solid. It's extremely well used. It's not a dead project. People call it that because they're being paid by other chains to call it that. It's not. It's far from dead. We've seen that again and again. A to Ace, reminds us with his channel and all the action that's going on there. But the reality is it really is the nerd Taylor Swift, right? And she's not, she's cute. She's got the hometown appeal, right? But at the end of the day, she's the wifey material, right? But she's not the one night stand material. I think you made an excellent analogy, Tim, and I think we can build on this. We have a good layer one for the analogy.
Well, let's move on. It's 12:03. We might run a little long today. It's good. It's a Saturday live show. Some people did not like the Swifty talk. I mean, we dropped in views. So we'll move on from my analogy. Maybe people didn't like it. Was that analogy a bust? Put a I hate the number 4. I don't know why. I always hate on number 4. Put a 4 in chat if you thought my analogy was stupid. And we'll never talk about it ever again.
I've got one more thing to say on Cardano before we leave.
Oh, you do? Okay.
It's almost as if Charles Hoskinson is accidentally putting himself in the same category as Peter Schiff. Now, they have 2 totally different business models here. And so this is why Charles has to be careful. It's because Peter Schiff can talk crap about Bitcoin and crypto all day, right? Because his bros, his community is a bunch of gold bugs, boomers and up, that just love gold, right? And he has nothing to lose by coming out and being against Bitcoin and crypto, and because he just gets views, and that traffic brings people to his website, and then they buy gold, and he collects fees, right? Yeah. Whereas Cardano, it's very, very different. Where Cardano is a cryptocurrency. If you're talking crap about Bitcoin, the king of crypto, you're talking crap about the king. You don't do that, right? Unless there's something about the king that everybody else doesn't know, and I just don't think that's the case. I think the king has clothes on here and does not need to be called out. Bitcoin is here to stay.
Yeah, I agree, guys. We have about a minute left to get those 200 likes for us to do another giveaway. I said put a 4 if you hated it. Put a 1 in chat if you loved the analogy, and a 4 in chat if you hated it. Let's see how that goes. Now, T-Shroom, let's kind of transition here from Cardano, and let's talk about some of those hot girls that we referenced. Nice. There's an article, or maybe multiple articles, going around that we might not have the last ETF, even of 2024, when it comes to Ethereum ETF.
Mm.
What are the other tokens and coins that are potential running? They're in the running to become the next ETF in the crypto world. And let's talk about what that would mean for the crypto space as a whole. But let's go ahead and break in that article.
Absolutely. Well, this from CoinDesk here. Solana and XRP could be possible candidates for the next ETF, says Standard Chartered. This is a bank that we've grown to know, like, and trust their opinion because they're very crypto progressive, very into it, and they've gotten some predictions right. For other coins, markets will look ahead to their eventual ETF status as well, albeit this is likely a 2025 story, not a 2024 one. Accurate. Analyst Jeffrey Kendrick said, for now, Bitcoin and Ether dominance will rise with selective next-in-line winners as well. So this is a growing narrative. What coin is going to get that ETF wrap next? Everybody seems to be asking that question and answering it with Solana, but XRP, in my mind, is the most logical next step from a legal perspective and just ease frictionless to the finish line. But Tim, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think? Yeah. And I've got some interesting contrarian perspectives as well.
I'll put it this way. I think that you have to you'd be dumb to not say that XRP has a chance of happening, but I think that there's a problem with the XRP one, and I'll explain that in a second. I'm going to put the options were XRP, Solana, and what was the other one I suggested?
It didn't suggest that, just those two.
It was just those two?
Yep.
I want to say I think that I'd be a believer of Solana becoming an ETF before XRP. And the reason why is because, well, let me think about it if I want to phrase this. I don't know if I have an opinion on which one I think actually will happen. I think it would make more sense for Solana to become over XRP. And let me explain why. For XRP, we've already talked about the XRP issues with it's got some heavy competition of it's not going to be the top institutional coin. Chainlink is. So I think that's another coin that should get thrown into the conversation here for being an ETF is Chainlink. I think it's just too far down. Let's get Chainlink into the top 10, and then let's circle back and see if they're discussing Chainlink being an ETF. But we already know that Chainlink is stealing some of the thunder and love from the banks. Remember, at one point, XRP was the big bad banker coin. Well, guess what? The banks aren't choosing XRP. They're choosing Chainlink, right? So that's one knock against XRP.
And AVAX.
The second knock against them is twofold. Number one, they've talked about potentially, even though they've hold off for now, they're talking about going public, Ripple going public, in which case, now all of a sudden, do you buy the XRP token or do you buy stock in Ripple? Also, Ripple has discussed starting a stablecoin. Well, if there's a stablecoin, what's the purpose of XRP? I thought XRP was the token that was going to be used going back and forth in between banks in the crypto industry. But now there's a stable coin that does the same thing. So there's this question mark of saying, are we going to have to throw another wrench in here and throw an ETF as well? Like, I just think there's a lot going on with Ripple. Yep. Ripple needs to solve some things and again, Ripple might be in the camp of not caring about the price of XRP. They might be sitting here saying, guess what? XRP is our token, but us, the company Ripple, we want to make money. And so we're going to do that via a public listing. We're going to do that via a stable coin. We're going to continue to do those things. Ultimately, if the XRP token doesn't raise in price or not, that's fine with us. We're fine with a very boring sideways price action for our token. As long as the use case of it keeps the world going, we'll make money. Effectively, do they even care about the community making money on trading their coin? They might just care about the money that they get paid for the transaction fees, in which case, again, a stablecoin makes a lot of sense. No one's investing in a stablecoin to make long-term money. You're investing in a stablecoin so you know what your coin is worth, and maybe you're staking that stablecoin and getting a little extra income, but you're not buying into a stablecoin hoping for great returns later. That's just foolish. I'm kind of watching Ripple and saying, is that the road they have going? Because the decisions they're making kind of lean towards that being the thought. So for that reason, it makes way more sense for Wall Street to say, you know what? XRP's got some issues. This isn't going to be a very hot commodity. People aren't going to be lining up at the street corner buying an XRP ETF. They'd rather get a Solana one. And then again, right after that, they probably want a Chainlink ETF. Yeah. I think logically XRP should be pushed down for investors as well, should be pushed down the list of who's getting an ETF.
Yeah, I think ultimately the ETF should not be the goal for any crypto project at this point, in my opinion. And you know who makes a really good point about this is actually Wolf of Wall Street's. He makes a good point that the only reason why Bitcoin and Ethereum got this ETF passage is because they had futures trading, and there's no other coin to my knowledge that has futures trading on the what is it, the Chicago futures market. Yeah. So, that's going to be a huge hurdle for even a coin like Solana that's in the good graces of Wall Street and to whatever extent, or AVAX would be a better example, right? It's on Robinhood, so it's like extremely compliant, and it's partnered heavily in association with JP Morgan, but there's no futures trading for it. There's no futures ETF already. And that is a super strong argument for why Ethereum should have gotten one and why it did get an ETF approval. So I think when it comes to ETFs, I think now it makes sense that everybody's talking about it because that's the biggest news story since sliced bread in crypto. But the reality is that it's kind of like it's like wrapping the future in the past. It's like you don't really need an ETF for these coins. More than likely, what I think would be valuable is what an ETF actually is supposed to be. It's a group of it's a basket of commodities. It's a basket of stocks. It's a basket of bonds that unlocks diversification through the purchase of one instrument. And so I think what we'll see is kind of what Galaxy Digital has pioneered, which is the ability I can buy one ETF. It's a crypto ETF, right? And it's got Solana, it's got AVAX, it's got Dogecoin, and then it's got exposure to 500 different NFT lines that are also held within that issuer, right? Yep. So that's what I think potentially be the most value. That's what I would be interested in buying from an ETF standpoint, because you can't do that in crypto. And then the question's like, well, is crypto going to beat the stock market to the punch and create basketed goods? Which I think there already is. I mean, that's what Ada Ace, that project that he's associated with, CTV. I think when you buy CTV coin, you're technically getting exposure to a diversified basket of cryptos that they hold, and a lot of it's on the Cardano ecosystem. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. ETFs really shouldn't be the goal.
What you're saying is reminding me that, and we need to talk about these more often. I can't wait for when the world really gets a hold of the concept of what I'm about to say and says, man, at a certain point, do we even need the ETFs? Right. So on the ETFs, you don't own the crypto. Let's just kind of get here. You don't own the crypto when you buy an ETF. You're just giving money to a large centralized entity to buy it for you, and ultimately you're trusting they're not going to screw you over. And I don't want to pump fear in anyone. If you bought an ETF, I don't think they're going to screw you over either. It doesn't really serve them to do that. But ultimately, you're giving them a lot of power and a lot of authority. How long before we wake up? And like you said there, T-Shroom, these ETFs really should be for bags. I want to purchase this bag of cryptos. We have a way to do that without involving BlackRock and other large power players. They're called DAOs. How long before we really see the emergence of DAOs being a thing where I could purchase a DAO to invest in every single layer 1? I could purchase a DAO to invest in every single Ethereum layer 2 or Ethereum built blockchain. I could purchase a DAO to, my top 10 coins, like Tim Warren and T-Shroom could start a DAO that we put our portfolio in there, the ones we believe in, and you can look in there and say, yeah, I agree in those ones as well. I want to invest kind of diverse. I believe in Tim and T-Shroom. I think they're good pickers of coins. Let me get in there. Choose another influencer. Choose another person of persuasion that you like their picks. They seem to make a lot of money. They create a DAO, and ultimately you can invest into that DAO and maybe even, again, in a decentralized way, maybe even get to a place where you actually help influence where that DAO goes with their investments. But that's what you're talking about. We don't need an ETF. Let's just remember this, guys. ETFs are old money. That is still TradFi. One of the cool things about cryptocurrency is it's the future of currency. And everyone's excited about it right now, about these ETFs. But how long before people wake up and say, oh my gosh, we just took something beautiful and repackaged it in the same turd we were trying to get away from before. Let's use these DAOs to do this, right? So I think there's a certain point, even T-Shroom, where they stop. There's not going to be a need for all these ETFs because right now the ETFs will serve as this great on-ramping of TradFi investors who don't understand and appreciate decentralized currency, they just appreciate wealth, they'll move them into the crypto world. Well, of course, now I own $100,000 of Bitcoin ETF. Let me learn more about Bitcoin. Let me learn more about my Ethereum ETF. Oh, wait a minute. This crypto thing is pretty interesting. Oh, wait a minute. There's a way to do this where I actually own the coin. And if something goes wrong, or if I say something wrong on the internet, I can't be punished for it monetarily. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's look into that. And it's just we've said this before. Crypto's route to success and dismantling fiat currency is a slow but sure, quiet Trojan horse scenario. And I think that's what these ETFs are going to help us serve as. I think this is a Trojan horse scenario where we're going to give people a taste of the wealth, but ultimately, if you only are in crypto for the wealth, you're missing out on potentially the greatest part of cryptocurrency, and that is a complete rearrangement of wealth in the world that brings us back to a stable, financially solid ecosystem that lets every single person have an equal opportunity to build something for their family.
Yeah, I see it slightly differently. I think we're in an amphibious industry, right? It's emerging from the depths of potentiality, to speak in the Jungian, Jordan Peterson type phrasing. It's coming onto land where it's getting its footing and it's going to be, accepted. I think the ETFs are kind of a way to onboard, old money, old acceptance of ideas into Bitcoin specifically. And I think there's a reason why Bitcoin was the first to be ETF wrapped. And now Ethereum almost feels like it shouldn't have gotten an ETF ideologically, but that it's gonna, and it's just because it's so synonymous with Bitcoin for a certain crypto educated class of Wall Street. So I think it's in this weird in between area where things don't completely make sense, but at the end of the day, either price goes up or it doesn't. And these ETFs obviously have contributed to the price ascension for Bitcoin. And that we saw the market reprice very drastically within a short period of time. Ethereum when the ETF came back into the conversation to the affirmative. So we're in a weird time. I think 20 years from now, an ETF for crypto is probably not going to be all that attractive because there'll be other crypto native ways to gain exposure to these assets and really utilize them in decentralized finance. But right now, these ETFs make a lot of sense to Wall Street, and Wall Street holds all the money, holds all of your parents' money. They manage your parents' money, right? And that's where all the money is. Now, when the boomers, and I'm going to speak in like morbid terms here, but when they pass away, right, and then all the inheritance goes to millennials and some of it to the government, but goes to millennials and Gen Z. Do you think they're going to be looking to ETFs to invest? I think what we've learned about millennials and Gen Z is that they're a lot more alert to their managing their own personal finances, especially with crypto being an option, a non-inflationary asset, or the ones that are like Bitcoin. That is going to be, it's all going to be managed very differently. Whether it's through an ETF, where Wall Street is still trying to cling to some control, or whether it's through a DAO, will yet to be seen. Or whether it's an AI managing it all for you, or managing it for everybody, and nobody thinks about money at all once we cross some kind of AI paradigm where money isn't something that people think about at all anymore. Some kind of weird communist utopia managed by AI. How's that for controversial?
That's some good stuff. Let's do some chat here, and then we have our factoid of the day, and we'll do some Q&A wrapping up the show. Let's see here. There was an interesting one, a funny comment of backhanded compliment. I love these. Everton Azul said, "Tim, that is the one perfect thing you have said all day. Crypto is about financial freedom, not allowing the banking mafia to co-opt the industry." I'm glad you love that one, Everton. I thought the other thing I said were good too, but I'll take it. If you don't agree with everything I said, that's completely fine. I take the compliment though that I had a perfect sentence. Perfection is hard to get to, T-shirt. So if I was perfect in that commentary, that's a win right there.
Everton is a Premier League team, and there was an American goalie for Everton for a while. Tim Howard, that's who it was. Yeah,
Tim Howard.
So thanks for tuning in, Everton Blue, Everton Azul. I guess a Spanish Everton fan or something like that.
We're getting a lot of comments asking for some ONDO TA. Some people want an ONDO price prediction as well. Not going to give the long term one because again, we got some more information coming in, but I gotta formulate my thoughts on ONDO for a big price prediction. Those are always a little harder when the coin's not like this is its first bull market. But I'll give you the best swing I can at an ONDO price prediction. I saw another one here I thought was interesting. Drew P said, "Look at you two showing off your cool investing bros hats that we can't have." And they had a sad face. And I hate when we have sad faces. Drew, I'll tell you guys right now, all of you guys, we're working on it. We're working on the details of how you get one, but I can't give you one that doesn't exist. We'll just be very transparent with you in the process. We have ordered, I got a shipment this last week of like, I think 50 hats. We are in conversation right now with a person who can mass produce the leather patches for a cheap price. And then I have to create them. So we have the tool here that I can create the hats. I can press them, make them look beautiful. And then, of course, we will have our way of you guys being able to get them. We're not going to sell them. Like, we're not going to be like, these hats cost $35.49. Like, we're not going to do that. We're going to attach it to there's certain things you guys can do / purchase to get either membership access or some form of affiliate that we're, one of our sponsors. If you purchase one of our sponsors, we'll have to tell you what the guidelines are, but it's coming. Be patient, everyone. But if you have been watching T-Stream and I rock these glorious hats, and you're like, I need me one of those hats, the opportunity's coming. Trust me. Don't be sad, Drew. Just hang on. Hang on with us. It's coming. Got to work out the details. And sign it. Okay. It's going to be, I can sign it again because T-Stream and I are in the same place. So I can fake T-Stream's signature.
You do not have permission to forge my signature, Tim.
All right, let's take a look at ONDO TA here. We'll look at a couple of coins here, and then we'll move on. So I'm looking at this. So it's hard to do too much. We're in price discovery mode here with ONDO. What that means is we're at all-time highs. There's no resistance above us to say, dang, that's the strong level of resistance you got to watch out for. I can clearly tell you support levels, but I can't tell you what's the next level that you should be heavily watching out for, because again, it's in price discovery mode. But I can tell you guys what I'm looking at in forms of strength and weakness. So for example, let's talk about support levels. We're under a buy signal right now, and there's some good support. There's an order block way down here at 75 cents, but we have a very fast climbing smart trail. I would say by the time if we were to pull back to it, it's going to make a lot of sense, and it would make you a lot of dollars if you keep an eye on the kind of zone of former resistance that has kind of now turned into, it's not support yet, but it's not uncommon, and we've talked about this a lot on this channel, for price to revisit a zone of former resistance and turn into support. What's that zone? We're looking at 105 at the high end, down towards 99 cents on the low end. Keep an eye on that level for potential pullback. When I come and look at the daily chart, here's another thing I'm going to notice. The daily chart, when it comes to oscillators, is not yet saying for fact we have to reverse, but I just want to point out to you guys, stochastic RSI is over 100. Is it falling? No, it's not, but it's literally at the highest stochastic RSI can even be, meaning it's overbought at the moment on the daily chart. RSI, it's above the 70. We're printing a 90.91% overbought. Is it coming to the downside? No, but it's getting close to saying it really should. When I move over to MACD, again, here we go. Is the MACD topped out? Not necessarily, but we're very, very high. And if we see the other oscillators kind of saying that we should keel over, we clearly here have a higher high in price action, but a lower high on the MACD. What do we call that, T-Shroom?
Bullish divergence.
Well, it's bearish divergence, but you got the divergence part right. Bearish divergence right here. And then it brings us to the good old lovely LuxAlgo oscillator here, where we are bullish in momentum and we are bullish in money flow. Now, the money flow is starting to keel here a little bit, and we just got a reversal triangle. So all these things come into play here, and it's saying, is the daily chart saying sell? No, it's not saying sell yet, but it is saying the strength is very high and it's a little overextended. Well, now this brings me down to the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart actually shows we could potentially go a little higher, even though we hit the first take profit. The buy signal is way down here. The first take profit was probably up here on 113. We now have a target for a second one way up at 129. I don't think that has to happen, but we are seeing potential signs of reversal coming in here. I'm going to keep an eye. Look at where our smart trail's coming in. 101. That's right in that zone I just told you on the daily chart looks significant. And we definitely have strong levels of support way down here, 85 cents and 78 cents. But again, I'd be very surprised if we get to those levels. On the 4-hour chart, now is where we're seeing the overextended price action start to keel over and come to the downside. Stochastic RSI is setting a lower low on that stochastic pullback. That's a sign that we could be kind of pulling back down to oversold territory. Oversold territory. RSI, it was 100% overbought, and now it's making its way back down. Got a lot of support below us, but we could at least come back down to the 50 line and bounce off of that. A lot of room between where we currently are and that 50 line on RSI. The MACD is finally curving over. Looks like it wants to start heading towards a bearish cross. There's a little bit of bearishness for you. And then we have this little goodie over here. Massive momentum dot printing. Bearish momentum dot printing, several red reversals. The money flow, while it's still positive, is turning over. When I see that money flow go south, that's my signal to enter a short on ONDO, and I'm looking for potential buying opportunity back here again in my kind of golden T box, somewhere in that 105 to 99 cent zone is my buy level for ONDO. When it comes to long-term price prediction, again, I have to put some numbers here together, but ONDO's another one of those coins. I think it's got some great partnerships. I think it's got some great thoughts here. Would not be surprised at all to see ONDO get somewhere between $10 to $20. I think there's a chance it might go over that, but I think that my target zone is saying somewhere, but at least a 10x. Again, most coins at this point, I think, still have at least a 10x in them if they're solid. It's the special ones that start to push towards 20x and maybe higher. And I think that ONDO is one of those coins that easily could be put into the special category, potentially going from where it currently is. Let's go ahead and look at this on CoinMarketCap. ONDO is currently ranked down here. Where is ONDO? Did I pass it? No. Number 58. Number 58, current market cap, 1.6 billion. With the partners that ONDO has, not going to be surprised to see ONDO be a top 20 coin. And I can't remember my exact, give me a second. T-shirt, entertain the people. I have a number I'm going to give them. I have a number for a market cap that I think is realistic if they get to, like, say, number 20. Well, I got to find it.
Caleb posted this. He said, hear me out, and then just posted an image of a $28 million mega yacht, but it's a 1989 cruise ship. This is very interesting. Could we be potentially looking at an influencer mega yacht buy-in? It'll be owned by a Wyoming DAO, and we'll all be able to share it and rent it and timeshare and everything. That is your filler entertainment for today.
Yeah. All right, we got to look at this. So my thoughts on ONDO is right now the price, the market cap could be, so tokenomics is going to play a big role here, but tokenomics would say ONDO at 1.6 billion. I think there's an outside chance that it makes somewhere between 15 to 20 billion in that top 20 slot. So it kind of, if it wants to do a 20x, it needs to be like a top 15 coin. If it's going to stay between 20 and 15, we're probably looking somewhere between 15 to 20 billion in market cap. That means that 10x is what looks like the most realistic. If we go top 15 and we start to make a push towards number 10, now is when we're talking about the 20x. But there's also, I mean, there's always a chance as well that we debunk history and things spread out. But based off of historical rankings and dominance, that area between 15 and 20, it's only going to have, what was the exact number? You know, roughly a 0.5 to 0.4% dominance of the total crypto market cap. And again, if my thought here is at 11 trillion, that's what gives us those numbers in, again, 15 to $20 billion. We're looking in that range of a 10x for ONDO, unless they have some mass. I got to look at their tokenomics and how much they're printing. But unless they print like double their current supply in the next year and a half, I think the 10x is kind of where I'm looking for sure. And then again, the question becomes, do I get so when I get my price prediction video, T-shirt, do we get nuts here and say, because of its partnerships, could ONDO be a top 15 coin? Could ONDO be like number 11 or number 10? If that's the case, now we're starting to look a little bit closer at that. Hey, could we get to something along the lines of a $30 billion, $40 billion market cap, and we see a 20x happen for ONDO?
Yeah. Well, either way, we'll be tracking it here on the Investing Bros, where you can stay tuned, tune in. If you're trying to figure out, do you want to buy ONDO? Do you want to buy AVAX? Do you want to buy Chainlink? You can stay tuned with us. We'll be bringing up LuxAlgo, which if you don't have it, we have it. We bring it up here on the Investing Bros, and you'll eventually, if you get into trading, get into investing, it's something that you'll want to be looking into today. And LuxAlgo is what has made this episode possible. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out, if you're interested, the link in the description of this video for LuxAlgo. And it also unlocks access to our trading channel in Discord. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right, so here's the thing. We're going to be wrapping up the show here. We did get those 200 likes before 12:06. We didn't talk about it, but it did happen.
Nice.
So we have 2 giveaways to give. And there'll be 2 winners. The first winner will win $100. We did hit 18,000 subscribers. So congratulations to you guys for getting us a step closer towards that 20K. It's going to happen here probably the next month or so. I'd be surprised if we get into July under 20,000 subscribers, just being honest with you guys. But we need you to continue to push that create more account. I'm just kidding. Share the channel with your friends. Share it on Twitter. Share those pictures. Remember, guys, I want to see pictures and tag me, T-Shroom, and Investing Bros Twitter channel with your hydration choice. But to win the $100 or the $50, you got to join our free Discord, right? There are membership levels. You can get more involved with us. There's lots of ways to do that. We're not going to talk about that in this stream, though. I'm going to promote our free Discord. A lot of great discussions in there with an amazing community, but that is where we do our giveaways. You got to be in our Discord family. We'll be choosing a winner there to enter to win the $100 or the $50 for this week's giveaway. And we'll announce this. We'll probably announce it privately and then just tell you guys on Monday who won. Go to our Discord and comment whether you like them or not. I just want to see this. To win, you have to comment that Cardano is going to be a hot chick. That's the win. Cardano is going to be a hot chick. Some form of that. Honestly, just reference my analogy for today and you'll enter to win.
No,
But
it's
you
got to be
gotta
a specific
in the
phrase.
Discord.
Cardano is going to be a hot chick.
Cardano's okay. T-Shroom likes the rules. He doesn't like to get outside of the rules. Cardano's going to be a hot chick. T-Shroom, we're going to wrap up the stream, but we have not done our factoid of the day. It's very weird. Normally we put it close to the end, but not the end. We're going to finish today's live show with the factoid of the day. What do you got for me? What has the elf got for me today?
Oh, well, Tim, we've got
a week.
It has been a week. Today's factoid of the day brought to you all by Arculus cold wallets. Check them out. It's who we love when it comes to cold wallets. Tim, Franz von Holzhausen designed what thing? The Tesla Cybertruck, the tallest building in Germany, Deutschland. C, Apple Vision Pro. D, the OpenAI logo. Which was it, Tim? Faster. Think. Brain cells.
I don't know, but I'm going to say Apple Vision Pro.
Okay.
And the reason why is because normally these things have to do with something we talked about on the show. And we haven't talked about like almost anything else on there except we kind of talked about Apple. So let's go Apple Vision Pro.
Is the Tesla Cybertruck, Tim? The Tesla Cybertruck, maybe you've seen it in your natural environment in the city or planet you live on, designed by Franz von Holzhausen. Let's get a good image of this guy here, because he's not only designed the Cybertruck, he's also, I believe, he's a designing manager for most of the Tesla models. So yeah, pretty cool guy. Pretty cool factoid.
Cool. Pretty cool factoid. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up our Saturday live stream. Little bit of information for you guys, because some people probably wondering this. No one's asked in chat, but I'm going to ask it for you guys. Are the Investing Bros going to be having a live show on Monday, which is Memorial Day, correct, T-Shroom? It's Memorial Day?
That is correct.
All right. Are we going to be having a live show? Yes, we are. Definitely at 3 p.m. Is there going to be a 9 a.m. on Monday, T-Shroom? I can't answer that one for you.
I will do the 9 a.m. if you do the 3 p.m., but it is my wedding week, and so I will be doing some things for that. And I'm getting married this next week, guys.
Listen,
bros.
you are 1 week from today. This man is off the table, ladies. So if there's anyone who wants to make a last-ditch effort to take T-Shroom's heart, this is the thing. Pull up your left hand. Put your left hand into the frame real quick for me.
My left hand?
Let me see your left hand real quick. Okay. take that off because that's really my
I
that's a promise ring, ladies.
yeah.
Now show your hand. I don't see a ring on that finger. Just yet. I don't see an official ring on that finger. So you had a week, ladies, to convince him that this is the worst. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, based off of that, we will have our shows on Monday. So if you guys were wondering, are the bros taking off for Memorial Day? We are not. What we are taking off, though, is next Friday and Saturday. I will be driving. T-Shroom will be getting ready. So we'll have shows all the way up until Thursday night. And then next weekend, we will be back the following weekend, but we will not be there Friday and Saturday. It is all about the Shroom wedding. Right. You guys, again, I'm going to post my Bitcoin. Don't ask about why I'm posting mine. I'm going to post my Bitcoin wallet. If you guys want to give T-Shroom a gift, just send it to my Bitcoin wallet. And you guys can support his wedding. But with that said, we love each and every single last one of you guys. Smash the like on the way out. If you haven't hit subscribe and you love the show, you had a lot of fun with us today. Thank you for joining the Investing Bros. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single piece of content we put out. With that said, though, we'll see you on Monday. Adi.
Os.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.